Hello there and welcome. In this video, I'm going to go over all handguns and shotguns in the game, explain what they're good for, what their strengths and weaknesses are, and how you can mod them. It's also the first part of a three-part video series where I go over all the weapons in the game, but there are so many guns in the game that I decided to split this up to make the videos less bloaty and better organized. That being said, I also have timestamps down below, so if you're looking for a specific gun explained, you can go just directly there. So we're going to get started now with the handguns, and I want to start out with the high power because that's one of the very first handguns that we see in the game. It's a very hard hitting gun. As a matter of fact, it has the third highest damage per bullet of all handguns in the game. The big downside of this baby is it has a low aiming bonus. It's really bad actually, and it has no armor penetration, which is okay given the caliber, but it also has not too many modification options. The bright side on all that is it supports pretty nice barrel modifications. You can either go for less range, even less range, but only 3 action points per attack is amazing. It lets you burst out a lot of bullets, or alternatively, the longer range and higher aiming bonus modification is also a really good one for this gun, because it basically mitigates a lot of the downsides of this one. The only problem, a lot of parts and a steel pipe involved. On top of that, you can silence this gun, and you can also install a compensator for more accuracy. The compensator plays really nicely with the short range barrel, so you can do a lot of things here. The high power is a reliable hard hitter, but it requires some tweaking to make it really shine. So next one is the Peacemaker. This is the other starting gun that you can acquire. It has a lower damage, it has way much range, and it has a better aiming bonus. Its specialty is that it loses condition slowly, which is kind of a meh perk, and it only supports so much modification. You can either increase the range and the accuracy, or reduce the range and yield a lower attack cost per shot. All in all, it's one of those guns where I say it's good for the beginning, but you should really get rid of it as quick as possible, because the low amount of modifications just makes it stand out as a not so interesting variant. To make matters worse, it uses .44 caliber munitions, which are way better spent on other guns like the Anaconda or the Desert Eagle. So then high power uses conveniently the 9mm bullets that are spread all over the game. So all in all, it is a solid gun, but it comes with a lot of little downsides. Good. So let's get on over to the Glock 18. The Glock 18 is the only handgun out there which has burst fire available. It can burst 4 bullets. It has a 15-point damage, which is the same as the Peacemaker. Range is pretty low. It has mediocre stats all over the board. The big sales point of this one is that it has burst fire. You can mount UV dots and other tactical devices on this one, so you can increase the accuracy or increase the chance of critical hits with this one really nicely. So in addition to silences and compensators, you can mod this thing into a really good Overwatch gun with these modifications. So the interesting part about the Glock is that it can spit out a lot of bullets with a low amount of action point investment. Apart from that, there's not much more going on for it. Damage is mediocre, but I really appreciate the fact that you can have so many attacks in such a short amount of time. So let's get on over next to the Beretta before we go to the hard hitters. So the Beretta has the same damage as the Glock, 15 damage per shot. It has no burst fire, but it has instead a high crit chance and a high aiming bonus. It comes with a naturally low noise, so it's a good gun to be stealthy with, even if it is not armed with a suppressor. It can only be armed with suppressors, no compensators involved, so that's one thing to note. And what I really like this gun for is it is perhaps one of the most precise handguns out there, because you can actually install so many little add-ons that are good for crit and precision fighting that it's really interesting. It's a good sniper gun of sorts, but the damage is a little bit low unless you crit. So for crit builds, I think this is a really solid choice. Let's move on to the hard-hitting guns. We're going to start with the Anaconda, which is the bigger variant of the Peacemaker. Comes with 24 damage per shot, uses the same 4.44 caliber, but has a built-in light armor penetration. Really good stuff. Has a good range, has a good aiming bonus. So all in all, this is a real big upgrade if you're still running around with Peacemakers and the like. It can be modded with a lot of add-ons. Even scopes are involved, which is pretty unique for handguns. Not many handguns accept scopes, but it comes with the downside that the scope slot is shared with the tactical device slot, so you have to decide, but you can make this thing, therefore, a pretty precise gun. Together with an extended barrel, you can make a really long-range weapon out of it, or you go for the short barrel and you just burst out so much damage with that thing. Biggest downside, in my humble opinion, about this one is its low clip size. It only comes with 6 shot and you cannot do anything about it. So, moving on to the Desert Eagle. So the Desert Eagle uses the same .44 caliber, so it has the same armor penetration as the Anaconda, but it comes with even more damage than the Anaconda. It comes with 15 bullets, so the ammo problems are not there. The big downsides of this gun are really low range, and the aiming bonus is okay, but it's lower than the average. It's not a 4, so you're really feeling that this gun has insane bang, but way less accuracy than the Anaconda. You can mod it though very thoroughly. It comes with the option to build in a suppressor, which is amazing given the fact that it is a handgun and it has a low attack cost, so subsequent attacks being more precise is a good thing. It can be modded with a higher overwatch cone, which is also lovely for a gun like that, or you just go for an iron sight with some accuracy. And most importantly, you can also either increase the range and the accuracy, or, here comes the twist and the special thing about the Desert Eagle, you can mount it to a .50 caliber, which increases the damage even more. The reliability falls, but you have now a handgun which can spit out bullets for 50 points of damage for just 4 action points. This thing makes really big holes this way, but you have to pay attention to one thing: you need that .50 caliber munitions. Otherwise, you don't have the damage. So, you can also mount some tactical device on that, and you even get to increase the clip size once more. So, all in all, I feel like the Desert Eagle and the Anaconda are the most powerful handguns out there. If you want some sort of automatic fire, the Glock is really good for you. And if you want a high crit chance, the Beretta is probably the best gun to go for. So, moving on to the shotguns. So, I want to go over the first shotgun you probably encounter in every gun first. That's the double barrel. The double barrel is an interesting shotgun in so far as it has almost no accuracy bonus for aiming. So you really shouldn't bother too much aiming with that gun. It doesn't pay off that much. The interesting part about it is it comes with a stupidly high built-in crit chance. This is really much. And it has also the ability to be fired as double barrel. So you can spit out 56 damage with that thing if you have enough action points, and that's the real interesting part about it. It doesn't have too many modding options. You can either increase the range and increase the damage up close range with that one too. It's an interesting mod. Or you go for the shortened barrel, which offers more AoE at the cost of range reduction, but it also reduces the AP cost, which is an interesting modification. All in all, it's a pretty antique gun, but with the barrel modification options, it is pretty versatile. Biggest downside of it is it just comes with 2 shots, and therefore it is a really maintenance heavy weapon in terms of reload. But it is really much better than it looks like. especially given the fact that it bursts really hard with a double barrel. Now, moving on to the more modern versions, I want to start with the Auto 5, which is a real upgrade towards the double barrel. It doesn't come with the ability to fire more bullets at once, so the damage per shot is relatively low. But the real interesting thing about it is it comes with a very, very low attack cost from the get-go. So it's not hard at all to pump out more than one shot in your action. What I really like about this one is that it comes with interesting modification options. The weird thing about it, though, is that you have high cap, you have long barrel, and you have long barrel high cap, which is actually just these two modifications fused into one. I guess it was the decision of the developers to give you several options if you don't have enough parts, which I appreciate. Especially interesting for harder difficulty runs. The other alternative that you have is going short barrel, which makes the already fast shotgun here even faster. Sure, the range is an absolute catastrophe afterwards, but you should take into account that this thing can be really fired often with this modification, so it's an interesting way to go. What's really interesting, what I personally really like about the Auto 5 are its muzzle attachments. So you can either increase the attack cone, or you can increase the range at the expense of the attack cone, or the compensator is a really interesting one, especially given the fact how often we can fire this thing in one turn. So very solid gun, shines especially once it is modified, and I highly recommend you to modify it because I feel like you're only getting half the gun if you're not modifying it. Good. Moving on to the M1014. Oh, I love this one. First of all, this weapon looks badass. Seriously, look at it and tell me it's not looking badass. Apart from that, it comes with a decent damage per shot, higher than the Auto 5. It has a pretty good range for a shotgun, and it has a really high aiming bonus per level, which makes it one of the most precise shotguns in the game. Modification wise, we have only the compensator, which is pretty cool because, you know, it is costlier per shot than the Auto 5, but it's also a weapon that's meant to be fired several times in a row. It comes with the option for tactical devices, which is really cool because Red Dot allows you auto crits, which is devastating with shotguns if you aim that much. UV dot is really cool to give you a little bit more accuracy, which allows you to just fire that thing with its base costs with relatively high accuracy, or you just negate darkness problems with that. This gun here also comes with the option for scopes, which is pretty unique for shotguns. Scopes and shotguns are usually not the combination you see too often, but this one is basically the precision shotgun. We can also modify the barrel into a shortened variant, which makes it faster at the expense of the range. We already know that, but here the twist is the clip size gets also reduced. But it's a very, very interesting option, given the fact that we can mount a compensator, and, you know, you can really make this thing a lot more action point efficient this way. And just like the Auto 5, I recommend you to mod this thing ASAP, because I feel like shotguns benefit from modifications extremely compared to other guns. Okay, moving on to the AA-12. This is basically the assault rifle or the automatic version of the shotguns. It comes with the buckshot burst firing mode, which allows you to shoot 3 times in a row. That's burst fire, basically. It comes with a clip size of 15, but as a matter of fact, if you use it for the burst fire, you empty that magazine relatively quick. But it also makes this one of the heaviest bursting shotguns out there in terms of raw damage. Downsides of this one are clearly that you are suffering from a lower accuracy, but apart from that, that's pretty much it. It's worth noting that you eat a lot more ammunition with this one, which might be an issue. You get the option to go for one scope type, not many scope types like with the other one. But the real interesting part about it is that it allows you to have an extremely precise shot for free. Or you go for Overwatch modding, which is also really, really cool because you can get yourself quite the advantages there. But these are costly. They cost either lenses or chips. We can even expand the magazine, which I think is a real important upgrade for this. Don't mind the increased AP cost when reloading. What's worse is when your magazine is empty. Barrel-wise, the extended barrel increases the range a bit and it's the only option. So, well, all in all, totally worth it if you can expand a steel pipe. The tactical devices that you can mount give you the usual options, increasing the accuracy or the critical hit chances even further, which I really like about this one. We have the really, really unique part here about this, that this gun can have a suppressor. I think it's a little bit ridiculous to have a shotgun that's firing silent, but if you're looking for a stealth shotgun, this is your weapon to go for, and it's the only one that can pull this off. So either compensator or suppressor are really, really good for this one, and just like with all the other shotguns, modifying this thing pays off heavily. So going as a last thing about the over the unique versions here, where one, the custom 6-shooter is a gun that you cannot get except for when you're hiring techs. I only cheated this into the save file, so this is tech's unique revolver. It's basically a fully modded Peacemaker. That's what it is. It's a pretty solid one, but it's still a Peacemaker. You have also here the Baxters argument Invalidator, which is like a hybrid between the Auto 5 and the AA-12. It's a custom AA-5, which has the ability to shoot several bullets per turn. It has almost no modification options, and well, I don't think it's that much of a good endgame weapon, but by the time you can acquire it, it is really cool to have one shotgun that can burst like that. You get to shoot 3 times with that one, which is something that the Auto 5 cannot do, but you have a little bit of a lower damage in return for that. Yeah, and that's it. So that's handguns and shotguns. Next video will be assault rifles. I hope you enjoyed that one. Leave me down in the comment section your feedback, what ideas you got, what you guys think I might have missed. And of course, if you enjoyed your time here, leave a thumbs up or even subscribe if you want to support the channel. I'd be delighted because it doesn't cost you a buck and really helps me out. There's a playlist link down there leading to all the other Jagged Alliance 4 info videos that I made. And yet again, thanks for watching, thanks for spending your time here, and I hope you have a great day. See you soon.